The fact is, sometimes we're presented with emotional states that nobody can explain. And that's when regression has a real place. Because with regression, we can go back and access memories. Now, whether they're in this life, whether they're a past life, or whether they're a genealogical link. Because certain things are passed from generation to generation. Has anybody had that experience where you really dislike something that one of your parents does and then suddenly you find yourself doing it? Has anybody been down that road? That's because we learn behaviours. We learn behaviours from our parents. They program us. They literally program us with these little programs, and it's in our interest to heal our parents and take these on board because we just can't be bothered to argue with them. And we can't use fight and flight as kids because we can't run, can't even walk, can't even crawl away from the nonsense when our parents are doing their stuff. So we take on board their energy and we recreate patterns within them. They're programmed deep within us. So when we start recreating drama in the future and become what our parents, everything we disliked about our parents, that's the time when it's necessary to go back into the past, quite often to memories way younger than we can remember, to access a place where we were programmed with something that no longer works for us. We get the positive learning, release the emotion. Now this is the key, it's all about releasing the emotion. Because when the emotion's on a flat line, we can get all of the positive stuff without holding the drama. Now, just for example, let me use something that happened with one of my clients. From a very young age, their mum used to look at them a certain way, and that look always meant they were just about to get a smack. So it was associated with pain from a very young age. And as they went through life, the look, smack, look, smack, look, smack, through the timeline. So it reached a stage when this person's in their 30s, and all their mum has to do is give them the look. They don't even need the smack, but all this emotion comes up, all this fear, all of this stuff will emerge. You don't even know why. Now, if any of you have been in a place where you get a look, somebody does something, something happens that inexplicably brings up a high emotional state that makes you, for all of your logic and all of your learnings and all of your experience, you suddenly feel overwhelmed, you feel emotional, and you're far more likely to do unpredictable things. Can anybody relate to that state?
Yep.
Okay, so we've all been there. We all understand why it's a good idea to release emotion, to use timeline therapy to regress. Now, personally, I'm not interested whether timeline takes people back to past lives or not. All I care about is that you get the result. As long as the emotion that people come to me goes and a positive learning replaces it, I don't care whether they exist or not. And if I'm honest with you, I don't know whether they exist. See, here's another myth. When I did my training in past lives, I was with all these wonderful people that could go back, access these memories. They could really see what was going on. There I was by the river, and I'll have women telling me I was a man, and I'll have men telling me yes, I was a woman, and they were doing all these wonderful things, knights jousting, Egyptian priestesses, they were running down by the banks in some prehistoric thing, they were being pursued by dinosaurs. I was thinking, wow, that's really cool. Take me on the timeline, I couldn't wait. But we all process information differently, and this was where I was going to be really sadly pissed off, to be honest, because everyone else was getting these great vision experiences, but not me, because I process information differently. I feel the emotion when I go back on the timeline. I get to feel the emotion, I get to release it, I get the positive learnings, but I've got no idea, really, if it's a past life or where I am. I get a rough insight, I get a rough intuition, but I don't get any real verification. And that's the first thing I want to point out to you today. If some of you are expecting this wonderful visual experience where you're going to know absolutely that you've had a past life and you'll know who you were and what you did, some of you might, Some of you might, because a lot of people do. But some of you won't. Some of you won't have any idea whether this is real or not by the end of it. But the point I want to get across to you, it won't matter. As long as we get the result. If there's anybody up for that, you don't need to know, but we'll still get the result anyway. Okay, that's always a good.